Thanks for joining us for another edition of Weekend Winners, proudly brought to you by 1Equine for the equine athlete. And we head back to the creek on Saturday night for another 8-race program, another well-balanced program as well. Obvious highlights this weekend include the open pace, where we get to see Captain Shuffles take on the first upper, Whisperer's Secret. Of course, he was the winner of the Rising Sun last year, getting set for a Sydney campaign. That's an intriguing race. Just the 5 starters in the open pace. The Mares Open, that's going to be another good clash. She's a Bonnie Sheila, Mickey Magic, the Sun and the Moon. And we've got the Trotters over the mile to round out the program. Not as promised. He's back to his winning form. He's won 3 of his 4 runs this campaign. He's got gate 7 and it's a mile on Saturday night. So it's a strong program. Looking forward to the card coming our way this Saturday night. In this edition of Weekend Winners, we're going to catch up with Jack Chapple and Gemma Hewitt. Jack Chapple jumps in the hot seat to go through his drives on Saturday night, and he's with us now. Jack, appreciate the time.
Good afternoon, Chris. Thanks for having me on.
Commodore Jujon, race 1. This is your first drive, chasing back-to-back victories. He was strong last week. Did he surprise you with the way he went about it last week?
He did. I thought he was still a run or two below his best after he had a few weeks freshen up, but he raced really well up outside the leader and was able to get the job done.
That was over the middle distance trip, 2,138 metres. You had the favourite closing in quickly to your inside, My Rocky Romance. When the judge called a halt, did you think you lasted?
I thought I did, just because he's such a large horse, and the sulkies were sort of in line with the horse to my inside, so I thought the horse being so big, I'd have that bit of an edge on My Rocky Romance.
Okay, so this race on Saturday night, completely different to what you faced there last weekend, beat. So we're back at a mile, and you're drawn 3. Does that make it a tricky drive for you coming up here on the weekend?
It does. There's going to be a fair bit of speed in the early part of the race, I reckon, and old Commodore doesn't possess the best early gate speed, so we're just going to try and get him off as good as he can to try and at least get across into the running line and hold a forward spot.
Difficult question to answer here, but where would you like to be within the first 200 metres? Ideally, where would you like to be sitting with him?
I'd like to be sitting in the first 4, would probably be ideal. He's a versatile horse. He can sit outside the leader or he can come from behind. It doesn't really worry me too much where he lands.
All right, so this is the band 5, so it's a lot stronger than what you beat last week. It is a strong race. There's quite a few here that are going really well.
It is, yeah. It's quite a strong race with sort of the likes of horses like My Rocky Romance, and you've got Bronski Zulu in there as well, so there's quite a number of nice horses in it.
Okay, well, hopefully Commodore Jujon can go back-to-back. Speaking of back-to-back, what about in race 2? You're going to partner Risk Taker again. He was awesome the way he finished off last week. He just cruised past the favourite Cosmic Flyer. Looked like he won with something in reserve. Is that fair?
Yeah, he did. He let down really well and was able to put the leader away, and yeah, he finished off doing it pretty well.
So were you surprised by the ease in which he won last week?
I was. I thought when Cosmic Flyer had a bit of a start on me that I'd sort of have to go pretty well to be able to run it down, and when he loomed up and went on by and still had a bit left, he did surprise me, the turn of foot that he showed.
Okay. Where does he sort of sit, Risk Taker? Is there a good rap on him? His record is more than handy, so where does he sort of rank in the pecking order there at Dixon's?
Yeah, I think Grant's got a good opinion of him. He's an honest little type, and he's beautiful to drive and do anything with, so he'll be around for a while. Just keeps earning and knocking the wins off. He's yeah, a nice little horse. All
right. A lot like Commodore Jujon. He's rising in grade to what he beat last week. That was the Q-bred pace. He's up to the qualifying standard on here on Saturday night. But you're drawn barrier 1. Does that give you good options?
It does, yeah. We can sort of elect to take a sit or hold the front if we want to. So from gate 1, we sort of hold the aces and got the choices to see which way we want to go.
Have you got a preference at this early stage?
I think I'd like to hold the lead. There's sort of not a strong front runner to my outside that I'd like to sit on, so first preference would be to hold the front.
All right, so is he capable of going back-to-back and making that jump from that Q-bred race that he won last week to the qualifying stage here?
Yeah, definitely. He's getting a bit better each run this preparation, and he was even better last week, so hopefully he can just come on that bit more and he'll be in the finish of this race for sure.
All right, well that's Risk Taker in race 2. Let's go across to race 5, the Mares Quali, the Vixen. Numerically, the form doesn't read all that well on paper, but you've combined with her previously. How does she sort of fit into this race, in your opinion?
Probably a bit of a tricky draw on paper. She doesn't possess the best early gate speed, so you've probably got to try and just tuck her in, and depending on the tempo, if you can work her into it at some stage or just come with one run, she's needs it to sort of go away a bit pretty hard up front, and then she can come over the top of them, but if they walk and sprint home, she does find it a bit hard.
What are you thinking at this early stage? Do you think it sort of sets up like it might be a sit-sprint race, or do you think there is enough genuine tempo that it should be a good speed all the way?
Looks to be like a bit of a walk and a sprint home on paper, but that can always change depending on how things play out. But from the draw, it looks a bit hard for her. Probably just going to have to tuck her in and hope for a bit of genuine tempo, and if it goes our way, she might be running home nice.
Okay, so what's her best asset, the Vixen?
She does like to roll along out in front. She's run a couple of nice races outside the leader and that in their mares qualifiers before. She hasn't been able to find the front too many times because she just lacks that bit of speed, but when she can get out and roll along, she seems a lot more happy and comfortable that way.
Okay. All right, well, let's go across to race 7. This is the band 4, band 3 pace, small field, so I'm tipping that's a good thing for your drive here. We always have faith. I think he's going particularly well, this horse. Do you agree?
I do, yeah. His last few runs have been very good. He's been able to put a few wins together in his last 5 or 6 starts, and the small field helps. He shouldn't be too far away from the leaders, and as long as there's a bit of early tempo, he can use that turn of speed that he's got and hopefully be in the finish.
All right, with the likes of Firestorm Red, Haranya, Obi Legal, although he's drawn the outside, it is the front row. Does that generate enough tempo to suit you?
I think it does. Sort of 3 out of 6 have got good speed on the front line, so hopefully they all press forward and sort of take a bit to sort themselves out, which would make a bit of early tempo. So.
All right, and this is a drop back in grade for We Always Have Faith compared to what he met last week.
It is, yeah. He was beaten 20 metres by For Real Life in 150, so he's still run good sectionals himself and wasn't overly beaten that far for the grade he actually is himself. So big drop back in grade for this event, and hopefully we can figure in the finish.
All right. Do you think he's going to get to open class stage, and once he's there, he'll be able to hold his own in time to come?
He could, Chris. It's sort of he'll have to step up a bit to handle that open grade, but he wasn't too far away from the rest of the open grade horses last week if you take away the winner. So if he just gets that bit better, I'm sure he could handle it.
All right, the last race, this is the mobile trot over the mile. Zealous Spur, you're going to partner him again. He was more than okay last week.
He was, yeah. He was off a 20-metre handicap, and it was a slow run event and a quick last half, so he did well to make up any ground than he did, and he'll be better from the run. So hopefully we can get a good trip and running and figure in the finish.
Is he better suited to the mobile conditions here, or you prefer him at the stand?
I think he's pretty versatile. He's won races at the stands and the mobile, so I don't think it worries him too much.
All right, not as promised. We all know his credentials. He's won 3 of his 4. Is he the trotter to beat?
I think so. He's been in great form since he returned. He's probably got the worst draw, but he's the best horse in the race, so he's the one to beat for sure.
Okay, which one are you most looking forward to here on the weekend?
Probably Risk Taker. He was impressed me last week, the turn of foot he showed, so he's got barrier 1, so hopefully we can take the best advantage of it.
I've got a quirky stat for you with your drives here on the weekend. There's only one horse that you haven't partnered to success previously. Can you name which horse that is?
Zealous Spur.
Yes, you're too good. You're too good. But that'll change. It's only a matter of time.
Hope so, Chris.
All right, good stuff. Appreciate the time. We'll see you trackside.
Thanks, Chris.
Gemma Hewitt now joins us to go through her runners on Saturday night, and she's in the hot seat. Gemma, appreciate the time.
Thanks, Chris.
Race 4, the Mares Open. This is where we start with you on Saturday night. You've got the 2 runners, Aurora Joy and Sweet Miracle. We'll start with Sweet Miracle because you're going to drive this mare. Now, she was first up off that long break. What did you think about last week?
Yeah, last week she would actually come out a lot keener than what I thought she would have after 12 months off. So I'll make some gear changes this week, but I really had to strangle her back last week. And yeah, it was probably, we'll just wipe her first run and go again this week. But I was actually really happy with the way she went. Okay,
so with you restraining her at the start last week, did she sort of half resent that?
Yeah, I think I nearly half had to choke her off, to be honest, Chris, to get her back to where I wanted her. She was just really, really keen.
Okay. Now, she's a very interesting mare. She came north. She joined your stable. She won her first 5 races, all at Albion Park. She got beaten. Then she was off the scene. She's had this slow build-up with trials. I think there was 3 trials before her race return last week. There's nothing like race fitness, though, is there?
No, there's not, and it's sort of, we were just trialling her fortnights apart and bringing her up slowly, but they're going just as quick as they were in the races. But yeah, it is nice just to get back to the races and get some race fitness, but it still will take a couple of runs to get her there after such a long break.
Why did she have that long break?
She actually, in January last year, she got really ill and blood tests revealed she had Ross River fever. So she was very, very sick, and yeah, she was pretty much borderline dead. So it's taken a long time, and I would have sent her back to home to retire her to Melbourne, but we didn't feel that she was up for such a long trip. So she stayed in Queensland and had 8 months off, and she looked really well and was feeling well, so we thought we'd give her another go.
Okay, do you think you can get her back to winning form in time to come?
Yeah, I'd like to hope so, Chris. As I said, it's just the heart rate's still a bit high and there's still a bit to work on, and she's carrying a lot more weight than what she ever did when she first come up. So I'm really hoping I do get her back, because she was one talented mare. Yeah,
it'll be a special moment for you if you do nurse her back to a victory at Albion Park.
Yeah, definitely. It's yeah, as I said, she took the track by storm when she first came, and I had plans to take her down to Menangle and things like that for ladyship runs. So yeah, it'd be lovely to get her back. It'd be lovely for the owners, and yeah, as I said, it's all foreign to me, this Ross River fever. I've never had it, never had a horse with it, so it's all trial and error, but I think we're getting her.
All right, well, that's Sweet Miracle, so whatever she does this weekend, she'll continue to improve and build on her fitness. What about Little Aurora Joy? She's going really well, this mare. She steps up to the open grade on Saturday night. How do you think she's going to handle that jump?
Yeah, it is going to be a little bit of a jump, Chris, but I think, you know, she always turns up every week and she always puts in her best efforts, and she gets home really well late. So, yeah, you know, like it might take a little bit longer for her to have a turn in this grade, but she'll definitely still show up every week and do her best.
They went fast time last week in the Mares Open. I'm sure they're going to run something similar, but I think she'll follow speed all day long, no matter how fast or slow they go. She'll just keep following.
Yeah, she's such a tough little thing, and there's nothing to her, but yeah, she tries her heart out every week, so I don't think it'll worry her either. As you said, she'll follow speed all day long, and she'll still be there at the end.
Does the small field suit?
Yeah, I don't, because she likes to come wide around him, so the fewer the better.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's the Mares Open there. So you've got the two runners, Aurora Joy and Sweet Miracle. What about in the quali, the Mares quali, the next race, race 5? Again, you've got the two runners. So you've got Ko-Fi Blaze, who's drawn out in 7. She is ODM. And Betting Jewel drawn the inside of the second row. Both of these mares are really capable, and I think they're going more than okay.
Yeah, definitely. As I said, it's just waiting for their turn, and they'll definitely both win a mare's quali. Ko-Fi Blaze, she's just got to be on her best behaviour. She can put in a rough one here and there, and then she gets herself OD'd. But as soon as she puts it all together, she'll be thereabouts. She's going really well, and I was really happy with Betting Jewel's run last week. She ran on well, so yeah, she'll get a nice fence trip this week as well.
Okay, just with Ko-Fi Blaze, because of her quirkiness, it's hard to make plans with her, isn't it?
It is, and she has a lot of owners, and yeah, it's sort of hard to cooperate with them every week, but it's just sort of like whatever Zoe wants to do, that's what she's going to do. So,
okay. Yeah. So that's Brendan's issue there on Saturday night. He's driving her, so do your best.
Yeah, exactly right. That's all you can hope for.
Okay. Betting Jewel, going really well. I thought the run last week was good. She found the line strongly.
Yeah, she did. She got home really well, yeah.
Okay. Just from that draw on Saturday night, inside of the second row, not sure if the one holds up. You're sort of in the lap of the gods, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly right. You know, I probably have a feeling that we'll end up 3 fence, but the way she got home last week, as long as she can do that again, and then when she gets a draw and she's thereabouts, she'll be there.
Okay, so both mares with a little bit of luck can feature. They just need that luck or no bad luck coming their way. What about Haranya in race 7? Now, this is an interesting race. Band 4, band 3. You don't have to take on the open class performers. Is this winnable for him?
Yeah, I think so, Chris. As you said, last week you had to sort of face the open company, and this week it's a little bit of a step back in grade, and a small field as well, so I think he's well graded here. Yeah,
it was an unbelievable time that they ran last week, so this is going to be a lot easier.
Yeah, it is, and he's sort of been going really well in his own rights, this horse, but, you know, he was off the fence again last week, and he's still putting in great runs, although his form's tapered off a bit, but he's had a great preparation. He's come through from a quali to, you know, to face an open company, so we're proud of him.
All right, so gate 3, he's got early speed. Do you roll the dice and have a look for the lead here? Do you think you can find the front?
Yeah, I think that'll be Brendan's plan, yeah.
Okay, he'll be hard to beat in front.
Yeah, he will be, yeah. He's been a lot sharper this week too, so.
Okay, so that's a winnable race for him, Haranya, and that's your lot there. They're the 5 runners for you on Saturday night.
Yeah, I've got plenty of mares at the moment, so a couple racing each other, but yeah.
They're not easy, those mares races.
No, they're not. Like, I think that they all sort of feature in the same ability, but as you said, it's just sort of waiting for your right run and your turn, I think.
Okay, does that mean Haranya's the best of your runners there on the weekend?
Yeah, I think so, Chris.
Okay, we'll take the tip with him. Race 7, number 3. Gemma, as always, appreciate the time, and we'll see you trackside.
No worries. Thanks, Chris.
A big thanks to our two drivers giving up their time and insights this weekend, Jack Chapple, Gemma Hewitt. We wish them all the very best, and hopefully there is winners coming their way this weekend. Time now to find a good bet for the program. I think I've got one at value on the weekend. I'm keen on the chances of race 2, number 8, Moops. Under the care of Matt Elkins, his wife Narissa has taken the drive on Saturday night, and his run last week was a real eye-catcher. He's drawn directly behind Risk Taker. If he happens to hold the front, it's going to put Moops in a good spot, and I think he's going to be value, so we're going to mark him as the each-way bet for Saturday night. Race 2, number 8, Moops. For all the Seinfeld fans, I'm sure they'll be having $1 each way on Moops as well this weekend. Like I said, it's a good card. 8 races, 5:42 start time for the first, and don't forget down at Cranbourne on Saturday night, the state and the country's best pacer, Leap to Fame. He got beaten narrowly in that gigantic performance in the Hunter Cup last week. He's chasing back-to-back victories in the Cranbourne Cup, a race he won last year. So all the best to Leap to Fame, chasing another big race win down there in Victoria. We'll see you trackside this Saturday night, and if you are gambling this weekend, please do so responsibly.